As you know, more complex shapes might be drawn with something like a selection tool, whether it is the rectangular or elliptical marquee tool. I will add to the selection and do something like this. And what I can do is come here to edit and choose stroke. We said 35 pixels or larger is the standard we'll use, so in this case, we'll keep it at 50. You can choose whether you want it to apply that white line on the inside of the selection, on both sides, center, or all the way on the exterior here. Keep it in white. I'll say OK. So there's an easy way for you to draw simple shapes this way. Polygonal lasso tool could also be used. Close the shape, edit, stroke, keep it at 50, say OK, and we've got that. Now I want to show you the really great part. Back in the drawing tool, right here we have this little butterfly looking thing, and this is called our Symmetry tool. For our project, I think the main ones you'll be interested in are vertical, horizontal, dual axis, and possibly radial or mandala. I'll start off with the dual axis here, and it gives us a selection box. Now you see where we have our center here, because we just want to make sure that if we drag this out to the boundaries, you can either take it here. I might suggest you take it all the way out to the corner to make sure that your lines extend and make contact. Notice my width and height are 6.5 inches square, so we're good. And now, when I go to draw, I'm going to go to 35 pixels for this, because I want you to see a difference in the line thickness. I'll draw, holding my Shift key, a horizontal line. I will freehand draw a curvy line. Freehand that, and then from there I'll hold the Shift key, press it down, and then click. Clicking, I'll hold the Shift key, click to here, click to here, click to here. If I come to here, I'll click here, click here. And now I've got a bunch of lines that are working with symmetry for my design. But what I might do at this point is actually come back. Maybe choose some of the interior spaces. Maybe those wavy lines are a little too much there. And I can delete that. You know what? Maybe I'll get rid of everything inside of the rectangle. Let's really let that shape stand out as a separate piece. I can also use the eraser and do things like that. Command plus to zoom in. Get rid of my selection over here. Try that again. Now it's doing it again because I still have my symmetry active, so I'll undo that. Symmetry off. I got a little bit of a jump here because of the guide, so I'll undo that. And I will say view snap is checked. I don't want it to snap to guides, so now when I try to draw, it's not going to assume I want to make it go to the guide. It's a little rough, but not a big deal. Now it's easier to come back and erase that. Erase that. And if I use the close bracket tool, it's faster to erase that area. So you can build something that's got symmetry, vertical, horizontal, or both axes. You could also add some of those symbolic elements that are not necessarily symmetrical, but in terms of giving your project a structure that holds those objects in place, we're seeing how these lines will anchor the objects and keep them from being too loose or fragmented. Maybe I would draw just an individual line here without the symmetry tool to make sure that it's anchored in place. But if I came through and cleaned this up, you would see between the thicker lines and the thinner lines a much more pronounced both symmetrical design as well as these individual objects that are making up this idea of how your light cubes might function. Hopefully these tips help as you figure out how you are going to draw. If there are any other questions, you can always ask in class.